What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video today. I'm doing race picks for the 2022 AdventHealth 400. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. This week in the NASCAR Cup Series, heading to the mile-and-a-half track of Kansas Speedway for the first of two times this season. We'll be back here later in the playoffs in the middle portion of the season, but we're going to be here for the first time this season in the first mile-and-a-half race since all the way back in Atlanta Motor Speedway, when that technically was a super speedway. This race will probably be a race of attrition, a lot of spins. We're probably going to see a lot of great racing as well, since the intermediate package has put on great racing. So let's jump into picks. But before we go and jump into picks for this weekend, let's take a look at the weather for this weekend. So the weather for this weekend is actually going to be really, really nice. It's going to be 74 degrees as a high and 57 degrees as a low, with only a 20% chance of rain. So you may need to bring a jacket, but I'm not entirely sure if you're going to need to. Probably in the morning when you get there, you probably need to wear one, but as the day progresses, you're probably not going to need one for the weekend. So now let's go and jump into the picks for this weekend. So for those of you who are new to the channel, here's how I do picks on the channel. I do two suck picks, two drivers who've been running really, really well, who are going to have a struggle race, or two drivers who've been struggling recently, are going to continue their struggles. Two underdog picks, two drivers who really need good runs, or two drivers that aren't in the best equipment, performing well, that I think are going to run well. And then I do the winner's pick for this weekend, and I do the ones you need to watch out for this weekend. And we've got 5 drivers you also need to watch out for, including the winner of this race. So now, let's go ahead and just jump straight into picks. So, let's start off with the suck picks. Who are my suck picks for this weekend here at Kansas Speedway? My first suck pick is a guy who's absolutely struggled this year. He has only finished 3 times in the top 15 this year, but he does have a win this season. Unfortunately, it seems like him compared to his teammates, he's absolutely struggled. And through the first 1/3 of the year, he only has 1 top 10 this season. And considering where this guy was last year, nobody really saw this coming. I'm talking about Denny Hamlin. Yes, Denny Hamlin has a win or two here at Kansas Speedway, but Denny Hamlin, like I said, has been absolutely struggling here this whole entire season. It's just like, it seems like every time his team's going to have a good run, something goes terribly wrong. Whether the pit crew makes a mistake, or the car or the wheel basically comes off, or something goes wrong with the car, it seems like Denny Hamlin never runs up front. And I think, unfortunately, his bad luck is going to continue. I think at some point, this bad luck that he's been having, the bad breaks he's been catching, are eventually going to go away, because I think at some point all the things that can happen to you in a race, I think, are going to go away for you. But I think that Denny Hamlin's going to continue struggles this weekend, unfortunately, here at Kansas Speedway. My second suck pick for this weekend is a guy who really I didn't have insanely high expectations for coming into this weekend. Well, I'll be honest, I thought he would get a win or two this year, but I also thought he'd be a little more consistent, but he is a rookie. That being said, he does have a victory, but like I said, he's been struggling. Talking about Austin Cindric. Austin Cindric, like I said, had really ever since the 500, has only finished, I think, 2 or 3 times inside the top 20, and only has one other finish inside the top 10 besides the Daytona 500. And last year at this race, he got involved in a wreck in his first or second or third start of his Cup Series career, which came here at Kansas Speedway. He really, really struggled. So I think Cindric's struggles are once again going to happen this weekend. I think he's going to run horrendously, and I think, unfortunately, he finishes outside the top 20 this weekend here at Kansas. And now we're going to jump onto the underdog picks for this weekend here at Kansas. Who are my underdog picks? My first underdog pick is a guy who really needs a shot in the dark. But I feel a little more confident about this guy potentially getting a top 10 this weekend than I have in many, many weeks. Because yes, this guy got involved in the big one at the end of the race, last race at Darlington, but they showed a lot of speed. And before they had pit issues at Dover, this team was in the top 10 early in the race as well. And going back to the last year's race at this track as well, this guy ran in the top 10 and top 15 pretty much a majority of the day and had a lot of pace. Talking about Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace really needs a shot of it in the dark this weekend. And I think he's going to have a good run this weekend. I think he's going to contend for a top 10. Like I said, it looked like, also remember, Las Vegas, a track very similar to Kansas, he ran extremely well. And it seems like 23-11 last week, this past race, before their issues came around, getting involved in wrecks in the pit road, think they were really on track to potentially get a top 7 or 8. So I think Bubba Wallace is going to have a good run this weekend, which is shocking for Kansas standards, but I think Bubba has a good run this weekend here at Kansas. My other underdog pick is a guy who really was coming into a really strong run with 2 straight top 10s before Darlington and had a potential top 5 run going here at Darlington this past race. On top of that, this guy has been a contender for the playoffs all year, and coming this year, no one really knew what was going to happen. But I think that Eric Jones, yes, that's my other underdog pick. I think Eric Jones is going to have a good run this weekend. They've also had a really fast intermediate program this year. They've just made a lot of mistakes. That's why, unfortunately, they've not been able to finish as well. But I think Eric Jones is also going to have a very strong run this weekend. I think he's going to have a lot of speed and pace. I think Eric Jones will contend for a top 10 this weekend here at Kansas Speedway. And now we're going to jump onto the winner's pick for this weekend here at Kansas. Who is my winner's pick? My winner's pick is a guy who's still looking for a second victory of the 2022 season. We've had 10 guys so far win, and you would think potentially we get another first-time winner this year with some guys that have been winless this year. But this guy that I'm picking to win won the last time we were here at Kansas Speedway and was really showing a lot of pace at Darlington before they had engine problems late in the early portion of the race. I think that Kyle Larson is going to get his second win of 2022. And finally is going to get that monkey off his back and finally get a second victory to be safe into the playoffs. Kyle Larson coming into Darlington before we came here to Kansas. Kyle Larson coming into Darlington had a lot of pace and speed and was on verge of potentially winning at Darlington and getting that second victory before he had issues. But he's been extremely consistent, and I think that Kyle Larson will contend for a victory, and I think he's going to win this weekend here at Kansas. And now we're going to jump onto the ones you need to watch out for this weekend at Darlington. Who are the ones you need to keep your eyes on? The first driver to keep your eyes on is a guy that really has ran extremely well. And we ran here in Las Vegas, like I said, a track very similar to Kansas. And this guy actually won one of his 2 stages that he's had so far. On top of that, it does not matter what type of track we go to. This guy always seems to be up front. Talking about Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain, of course, has 2 victories up to this point this year, but has not won on a 1.5 mile track. And I think he's got a shot of doing it this weekend. I don't think he's going to, but I think he will minimum get a top 5 this weekend. Chastain is contending very, very well. He has more podium finishes than anybody else this year. I think Ross Chastain has really proven himself to be a championship threat, and I think he'll be a contender to win this weekend at Kansas. The next driver to keep your eyes out on is a guy that actually does have a win here at Kansas Speedway back in the 2018 fall race and has been on a really strong streak here over the last few weeks. On top of that right now, he's the only driver that has an average finish under a 10th place. In fact, he's the only driver that has an average finish under a 12th place with a 9.3 average finish and being the regular season points leader and with a really good run. Chase Elliott is my next one you need to watch out for. This guy, like I said, has been really, really consistent here over the last few weeks. Has really been most consistent driver all year. And I think he's got a shot to potentially pick up his second victory of the 2022 season. The third driver to keep your eyes on is a guy I believe that does have a win or 2 here at Kansas Speedway. And also, before the race at Darlington, he had a really good streak going. And I think he will have a pretty big bounce back week here. I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's going to contend for top 5 this weekend. Talking about Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch has been really, really fast in the 1.5 mile tracks, nearly won at Las Vegas earlier this year. A track, like I said, that's very similar to this track, and I think that he will be a major contender in this race. He's got a good 1.5 mile program, and I think Kyle Busch will contend for the victory here at Kansas. The fourth driver to keep your eyes on is a guy that is still looking for his first win in 2022. But it seems like this guy also has had a lot of pace as well throughout this year, and I think that this guy will contend for a victory here. Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney's been always really, really good here at Kansas. You have to go back through every race that I've watched really since the beginning of his career. And Ryan Blaney always since 2016, or 2015 for that matter, when he made his debut here at Kansas 2015, at least his first ever start at Kansas, he contended for the win there. And I think that Ryan Blaney, once again, is going to be a solid threat to win. I think he potentially gets top 5, but it would not shock me if he becomes the 11th driver to win this season. And a final driver you need to keep your eyes on is a guy that is going to be really faster because the high line is going to matter a lot. And this guy, between him and Kyle Larson, are arguably the 2 guys that can run the high line better than anybody else in the field. And this guy is also still looking for his first career NASCAR Cup Series victory. Came just up short the other day of winning at Darlington. And I think he could honestly be a threat to win here this weekend. Talking about Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick seems like he's going to have a win here coming. The win is coming for Reddick. I just feel like it's coming for him. And I think he could have an opportunity to win this weekend here at Kansas. I think it's going to come down to him and Larson. And you have to remember last time we were here too, he was really strong and was battling Kyle Larson for the victory here with around 40-50 to go last year at this race. So I think that Tyler Reddick is going to be a threat. And it would not surprise me if Tyler Reddick does get his first win in 2022. but I unfortunately don't think it's going to happen. So, those are my picks for Kansas. Just a reminder, my suck picks are Denny Hamlin and Austin Cindric. My underdogs are Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones. My winner's pick is Kyle Larson. And the ones to watch are Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and Tyler Reddick. So, that's going to be the picks video for the AdventHealth 400 at Kansas Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on page as well. Let's get you below over that and comment your thoughts on today's video and your picks below as well. Tell me who you think is going to struggle, tell me your underdogs, and tell me who you think is going to win this weekend here at Kansas. Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow on my channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing the news over the last couple of days. We've already got a lot that we're going to be discussing about, and you will hear on the channel tomorrow. And then Thursday, I've got a special product that might be happening I think you guys are really going to like, so check it out here later this week. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. I'll see you guys next time for some very great, awesome, and other NASCAR stories and other videos on the channel like this. Take care, everybody, and I've got other products coming to that second channel. Check it out here in the future, guys.